Alright everyone, welcome back to Doli, Incapax, and me, myself, and Turnabout. This is the final part of that case, and I'm quite eager to find out what the truth and who the murderer was. You think Psych did this? Are you insane? Think about it. Psych already knew the victim. He could have had a motive beforehand. And even if he didn't, he must have been the other thief. That could easily create a motive. But you don't know Psych! He's a great guy! He's been there for me for a decade now! And? He's a total pacifist! He won't hurt a fly! And? Stop wasting my time! What are you trying to tell me? Nurse Redheart heard the thieves talking, and she said there were 2 ponies involved. Obviously, Baby had to be involved to some extent. But we know that Victorian doesn't have a motive, and Nurse Redheart heard the thieves. The only ponies who could be the other thief are you and Ego Boost. And you're sure there's no one else who it could have been? I'm very sorry about this, but it's the only possibility. I don't know what to think about this. Give me a minute. Are you gonna be alright? Yeah, just make sure you go on easy on him, alright? We'll do our best. I'm sorry about this, Mr. Prose. I am too, Miss Incapax. I am too. Miss Incapax trial is about to resume. Please proceed to the courtroom. This is it. The final stretch. Psych, you'd best be prepared. Court is back in session for the trial of Bits and Pieces. Mr. Corbus, I trust you've prepared the witness to testify? Yes, thankfully he was more than willing to cooperate. It's no problem, man. Might as well talk. Of course. Now, your name and occupation, please? Ego Boost. I'm a psychologist working with the defendant, as well as a therapist. My, you sound quite busy. I suppose we shouldn't keep you here that long. Maybe that would be best. Would it be best? Maybe it would be for the best. Dr. Psych, we need you to pay attention. This is very important. Dolly, you seem so certain that I'm the killer. That's very narrow-minded of you. You still haven't taken my statement. How do you know there isn't anything important in there? Your statement will probably just be a giant lie. Mr. Psych has a good point. We should probably listen to what he has to say. Witness, if you would. Of course, Your Honor. I used to be the victim's therapist, but she stopped seeing me 2 years ago. Anyway, that's just a coincidence. I've helped out too many ponies to count. I didn't steal anything. All you've given the court is a series of possibilities. I hate to say it, but one of Bits' personalities must be the other thief. You get it, Dolly? You can come up with all the possibilities you want. But there's a ton of evidence against Bits. I'm sorry, Bits, but that's just how it is. That's a fair point, but I still wish to cross-examine you. Suit yourself, I guess. There's only one reason you'd try to put the blame on Bits. What kind of connection formed between you two? It wasn't romantic. She was a very nice girl, but we only met up on appointment days. To think something like this happened to her, it's dreadful. I'm sorry about this, Dr. Psych. Maybe we should change the line of questioning for now? Alright. Are you saying it was just by random chance you were around when she was killed? And you expect us to believe that you just happened to be around when one of your clients died? Yeah. Care to elaborate? In his defense, we looked at Psych's records. The number of ponies he's worked for is amazing. So yes, this could just be a strange coincidence. But what if he got motive during one of his therapy sessions? What if? You can terrorize all you want, but unless you have a motive, it's not worth considering. Speaking of, that's actually a great description of your arguments earlier. But my theory about the reflex hammer ended up being true, didn't it? Yeah, and that's really impressive. But that doesn't mean all your theories are right. And what about Bits being hit over the head? You don't have any evidence to back that up. Could you even prove that? I wonder if you could. I don't know if you could. Is that true? Is there some way we could prove that's what happened? Dr. Psych, could you please add that to your testimony? It's been a while since we've done that. Huh? Oh, well, sure. He may not have been hit with the reflex hammer. There was no proof that someone was hit with it. How would you know if that kind of proof existed or not? I'm certain if that kind of proof was found, it would have already been announced. At least, I think it would. Would it be? Maybe it wouldn't be. True, we wouldn't necessarily find proof of violent force on the hammer. But there's somewhere else we'd be very likely to find proof of violent force. I hate to say it, but one of Bits' personalities must be the other thief. How could you say that about him? That's horrible. This isn't really easy for me either. But one of us has to be the thief. And I know it wasn't me. Opinions can only go so far, Dr. Psych. But there's plenty of evidence against Bits, and none against me. As long as we don't have solid proof against him, we can't say anything about him. If you want to find Psych guilty, you gotta find some actual evidence to use against him. He's probably planned this from the beginning, but maybe I'll find a weak point if I press enough. I already found a weak point. Right here. So, maybe I should present a profile. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna have to do. I think I'll present Victorian Pro's profile, because he did mention he was hit. I mean, that's right. We haven't heard that there was any evidence of the sort on the reflex hammer. Yeah? So why did you object? Simply put, we shouldn't look at the reflex hammer for such evidence. But we'll certainly find evidence of trauma on Bits and Pieces. Ugh! Order! Mr. Corvus, was evidence of trauma found on the defendant? Just a moment. Bits and Pieces had minor cuts on his body as well as a sizable bruise on his scalp. A sizable bruise on his head. And do you know what could easily cause such a large bruise? A reflex hammer, that's what! But nothing was found to be odd about the hammer. This is a medical instrument used to hit people on the knees. It was carried around by a mare with a penchant for dropping her first aid kit. Of course, damage from hitting someone with it wouldn't stand out. Alright, Miss Incapax, you win. I'll confess. Huh? I was hoping I wouldn't have to say this, but I hit pros over the head with the reflex hammer. This is true. So why don't I like the sound of this? It was just a gut reaction. I ran into the Emerald exhibit. And he was standing over Bibby's dead body. No! You can't lie to us like that. That's perjury, Psych. I never said that I didn't hit him. I just failed to mention it. Those are two different things, man. Besides, did you hear what I just said? Does it really matter after that? I guess it doesn't matter, does it? But you said Bibi was already dead when you found Bits? Don't remind me. I don't want to be reminded. Actually, if you hit him with the reflex hammer, why aren't his prints on it? Unless he hit him directly with his own hoof. Perhaps we could get you to testify about that. Testify? Sure. I just hope you can forgive me, Bits. When I was looking around the museum, I decided to take a peek at the Emerald exhibit. And Bibi was already dead. Prose was holding a necklace that killed her. He lunged at me, and we had a little fight. In the end, I picked up the hammer with magic. Oh, magic. Oh. And hit him over the head. It was self-defense. And then I left. I had to tell someone about what happened. And that's everything that happened at the museum that day. Nothing much happened up until then. At least, I don't think anything did. But why would you withhold this testimony? This is very important. I thought maybe there would be another possible suspect. I wanted to protect Bits. But I guess I couldn't, could I? How sad. Miss Incapax, your cross-examination, please? Of course, Your Honor. Okay, we know this can't be right. Did anything happen before you entered the Emerald exhibit? I thought I'd just answer this. Anyway, no, I was just looking at the exhibits. And where did you go specifically? Pretty much all of the exhibits in that way. Are you going anywhere with this, man? I suppose I'm not. And what happened when you entered the Emerald exhibit? I need you to tell us anything you remember. Absolutely anything about the crime scene. Hey, I know they say time feels like it slows down during really intense moments like that. But I didn't get a chance to look at the body really well. I was too worried about Bits. What do you mean? You think he was trying to hurt you? I don't know why, but he definitely was. Because right after he noticed me... You had a fight? What exactly went on in it? He tried to wrap that necklace around my neck. I think I was going to be his next victim. The defendant tried to take another life? Oh boy. But I was still able to get out of there without any kind of injury. You used your magic to pick it up. Yeah, that would explain the hoof prints on it, right? Magic wouldn't leave new hoof prints or wipe off any that were already on there. Ah, that actually makes a lot of sense. Trust me, I wish I would have flown away from all that. Then I wouldn't have had to hurt Bits. After I saw what I'd done, I was frightened, man. I need to get away from there. That's the first thing you did when you left the exhibit? Of course, man. Someone needed to know. But it took me a while before I found anyone. Even when I did, those gates went down. I just have this itching feeling something is off. Should I raise an objection? We will just a bit later. It's probably nothing. I'll let it go for now. Okay, let's be real here. This has to be one giant lie. This is way too convenient for him. I agree, Exy. And all lies eventually contradict the facts. And it definitely didn't take long in your case, Psych. Object! I'm sorry, but that won't work. Do you remember when we were both in the Pearl exhibit that day? You were definitely in there for the entirety of a lengthy conversation I had with Lady Victorian. If that were true, you would have told us about the bodies then. Ah! Yeah, that... Order in the court! But if he wasn't there to tell you about the murder taking place, why was he in there at all? An excellent question, Your Honor. And there's a very simple explanation for that. This is why Psych was in the Pearl exhibit. To place the emerald pendant? Well, let's try it. An emerald pendant was removed from the murder weapon and put in the Pearl exhibit after Bibi died. You weren't there to get rid of the pendant, weren't you? Doli, I really like your story. It will wrap things up very nicely. But what was my reason for putting the pendant in there? Why? Well, that pendant's been an important part of this case. According to you, the thief put it in there. So what would I gain from getting rid of it in there? Nothing, man. This whole time, we've been thinking that the pendant was thrown in there for some reason. But what if that wasn't true? What if your real goal was something else entirely? Something else? Like what? You put the pendant in the case in order to... Well, we've got three choices. We got bring down the gates, break the murder weapon, and frighten everyone. Bring down the gates seems like the most logical thing to say right here, but I remember something specific saying that the only thing that can bring down the gates is the Hemlock Queen's emeralds, isn't it? Well, just gonna guess anyway. All you really wanted to do was bring down the gates and trap everyone. Or, moreover, change the circumstances surrounding Bibi's death. What? The crime scene told a specific story. Bitch stole the necklace and set off the gates in the process. By bringing down the gates, you were able to trap yourself with the other witnesses and make an alibi. I must say, this turn of events is very shocking. Psych! What do you say to these remarks? I have plenty to add, man. Could I talk to you all again? Another testimony? When will this guy fess up? There's truth to some of your story, Doli, but not to all of it. I admit that what you said was right. I put the emerald pen in the pearl exhibit. But the only reason I did that is because Bits was guilty of murder. I set up the crime scene so he'd be found guilty. He committed murder and needs to pay for it. Even if I hadn't set him up, he'd still be found guilty. He's the only pony with motive. The pendant was just insurance, in case someone asked me why I was messing with the case. You admit to tampering with the crime scene? That's a crime in and of itself! You're right, man, but so is murder. I'm not going to be convicted of a murder I didn't commit. I don't approve of perjury or any crime, but we can't worry about punishment for your crimes now. As long as this testimony holds, we'll be forced to accept the defendant's guilt. Then we'll just have to show this testimony doesn't hold, won't we? Is there any particular reason you chose the pearl exhibit? You explained that yesterday, remember? Ah, yes, there are pearls on it in addition to the emerald. So I thought if I hid it in there, no one would be likely to find it. This is a serious crime. Why would you do this? Didn't you even think for a moment he might be innocent? I didn't believe it myself either. I thought he picked up for the necklace in a moment of panic. But when he jumped at me, I was certain he was guilty. And I'm certain if we spoke to Victorian pros, he'd corroborate your story, right? He lost his memory, remember? He may not even remember killing Bibi. No, he's planned for everything, hasn't he? Did you even consider the legal ramifications of what you were doing? I didn't think anyone would pursue the case this far. You've impressed me, Doli. But still, the threat of punishment was there. As was the threat of him being found innocent. I needed to be sure he'd be found guilty. Wasn't he like, sorry man, sorry Bits, I wish you weren't guilty earlier in this, video? Or early on period? Feels strange for him, well, it doesn't feel strange at all for him to turn on that, because we know he's partly guilty, but still. I really care about him, but I also care about the people around me. And if he was found innocent, we could have another murder. Man, he's dangerous. You keep claiming that, but we don't know anything about your relation with the victim. Doli, stop right there. You keep telling us that Psych and Bibi may have had a motive. But we didn't find anything to suggest that she needed money, or that necklace. But did you think to ask our witness here about the victim? Well, we asked, but he didn't give us anything of value. Have you considered asking him some more questions about her? I get it. You want me to testify again, don't you? Wow, really? Another testimony? This guy's got plenty of them. Yes. We know absolutely nothing about her. Bibi was killed because pros wanted to keep her from talking. It's as simple as that. But if you think it's relevant, guess I'll talk. I'll give you as much detail as I can without betraying physician-client privilege laws. Bellbond wasn't her birth name. She was originally a dissatisfied baker named Buttercream Swirls. But even after graduating from college, she hadn't earned her cutie mark, and was angry at herself. I suggested she quit bakery and try and figure out what she really enjoys doing. A week later, she burst in with her cutie mark. She was so happy. She said she owed me for helping her. But after she changed her name, we never spoke to each other again. That's all. So, are you satisfied that I don't have a motive yet? One way or another, I'm going to find your motive. I'm not just giving up here. Alright, it'll just be a waste of time, man. Somewhere in here, there's gotta be some reason she needs money. And that'll be the key to cracking this case wide open. This is a murder trial. We need absolutely any information we can get. Yeah, but it's illegal to share certain information with a court of law. Or do you just want me to find me guilty of even more? Sorry, I got a little carried away right there. Don't worry about it, man. I'll just get started. Our victim was originally a baker? What? Both of her parents run a bakery. They thought their daughter would follow in her footsteps. I think they were a little too hopeful, and gave her a bakery-related name right off the bat. How do you two bakers give birth to a security guard? Dolly, we're here to discuss the victim's relation to the witness, not the victim's career choice. Although, it is a good question. Do these kind of things happen that often? Well, anyway, she'd been a baker for all her life. Did she have any problems with paying for tuition, perhaps? Sorry, but her parents were paying for her education. She didn't put a cent into college. It's really a shame, too. She went to a great creative arts school and studied bakery. But she still didn't want to be a baker, huh? Yeah, she felt like she was being forced into the career. What did you suggest that she learn to do? I didn't suggest anything. I just wanted her to follow her own path. She needed to learn what was best for her, and it needed to be something she wanted to do. If I told her what to try, that would defeat the whole purpose, right? I suppose. And what happened after that? She said she owed you one? Please elaborate. They owed me one, man. It's not a lot to say. I never needed her to help with anything. She was happy, and I was happy. Alright, and do you know what she did when she stopped seeing you? I wish I'd kept in contact with her after that. Out of curiosity, what did you charge her for your sessions? How high do you think my rates are? They definitely weren't so high that she'd resort to theft. She paid them off after she finished seeing me. It was only 2 sessions, after all. And you never attempted to talk to her again after that? She was a very nice girl. I really should have, shouldn't I? But I can't change the fact I didn't talk to her. Sorry. There was nothing. Are you finally convinced, Dolly? There wasn't any reason for us to do this. I'm sorry, Miss Incapax, but without a motive, your entire theory crumbles to bits. And you almost had me convinced. I'm afraid if that is all, I'm going to have to pass my final judgment. Are there any objections? No, Your Honor. Of all times for me to run out of things to say. I know you're guilty. Exie, what are we going to do? There's nothing else to go on from here. Just calm down, Mom. You need to think clearly. Exie, that's the first time you've smiled since yesterday. Bits is innocent, so there's something wrong with our line of thinking. Maybe we need to think over our base assumptions one more time. Think over our base assumptions? I suppose it's worth a shot. So let's start from the beginning. Oh, it's it's actually something that from the new Ace Attorney game, the 5th one. Yeah, anyway. Okay, Dolly, you need to concentrate. Think about everything that's happened. Bits and pieces were found locked in a room with a woman who's just been murdered with stolen goods. Because she was a security guard, we assumed she was killed by the thief. However, thanks to the museum master keys, we now know that's not the case. We now know that Bellbond was actually trying to steal the necklace herself. And the testimony of Ego Boost indicates Bits and both the second thief, Redheart... Wait, hold on, let me retry this again. And the testimony of Ego Boost indicates Bits and both the second thief, Redheart, Herd, and the killer. This sentence is a bit strange. Maybe there's an extra word that shouldn't be there? Whatever. However, his story about stealing the pen is only explained one way. He's the real thief. But no matter how much I dig into his past, one problem keeps coming up. Well, motive, obviously. No matter how hard we try, we can't give them any kind of a motive to steal the necklace. Now, in some cases, there would be many ways to explain this. Perhaps one of our thieves was kleptomaniacal, or perhaps just mentally unstable. We could even claim that someone came to them that day and forced them to steal it. But in the end, all these reasons are meaningless because the theft was... three options: during the day, in a locked room, and premeditated. Huh. Well, it's probably premeditated. The crime was planned in advance, so there needed to be some kind of other reason for this. But this kind of crime is very serious. The artifact they were stealing is worth millions. So for this to happen, someone needs to have a very strong motive. Come on, Doli. What could explain the lack of motive? Well, three options as usual. They didn't plan a theft. There was a third thief, and we didn't dig deep enough. It's obviously there was a third thief. If there was a third thief, that could easily tell us why they didn't have a motive. Nurse Redheart heard two ponies talking, but that doesn't mean they were the only thieves. And that third pony would have a very strong reason to want to steal the necklace. Presumably, they would be the ringmaster behind this whole theft. But if there was a third thief, they would have to be Lady Victorian. Okay, so it's not Lady Victorian. In fact, that means it has to be Victorian prose. Yeah, it has to be Victorian prose. Oh, well, so Lady Victorian really is innocent in that case. That's... After that creepy neck twisting thing, I was sure she was partly guilty, but I guess she really is innocent. She's just a crazy old lady, yeah. Victorian prose and Psych were both thieves. Oh my god, that's it! BB, Psych, and Victorian prose all grouped together to steal their emeralds. Your Honor? Yes, Miss Incapax? You have something to add? Your Honor, this court has been making a very grave error. A grave error? Huh? Let's take back to what we know. Bellbond was one of the thieves involved in the theft. But we keep coming across one major question. For what reason did she have to commit theft? I thought I already told you, man. She didn't have one. And you're right. She didn't have one. Where are you going with this? Then we have the matter of our two possible accomplices, Psych and Victorian prose. And as you just told us, Bibi owed you one. So she would be willing to help you with this theft. But you don't need the necklace. You don't have any motive either. Exactly. So I'm innocent. Give me a chance to finish, Psych. The other possible thief is Victorian prose. His personality was being expressed at a time. And thanks to Mr. Corpus, we know he had a very sudden need for a lot of money. But he didn't know Bibi. There's no way she would have helped him commit theft. Let me guess. You think there was someone else who stole the necklace? A reason to steal the necklace and a connection with the victim are both necessary for this theft. But no one person has a motive, a connection to the victim, and the opportunity to commit the theft. But if Bibby had 2 accomplices, then these problems melt away. Psych! You worked with pros and Bibby to steal the necklace! Yeah! Order! Order, I say! There were 3 thieves? Are you serious? The only reason we think there are 2 thieves is because Redheart only heard 2 ponies talking. Speaking of her testimony, do you remember the other major question that brought up? Why would Bibby want to talk to Psych? Bibby's only connection to pros was the theft, so they must have been ready to actually steal it. And there's only one findable way Bibby would agree to help pros, given how she's never met him. Because he got the help of his psychologist, Psych. Ah! But Doli, you're forgetting one very important thing. Where is your evidence of all this? Do you have any proof that the 2 of them collaborated? I do. What? No, you can't, man! This is what will finally put the last nail in Psych's coffin. Well, I probably have to present Victorian prose? Because there's no actual evidence to show. I keep thinking the medical estimate, but Doli mentioned it right there, and it wouldn't make sense to present it here. Oh. Simple. We'll just ask Victorian prose for his testimony. But he lost his memory. He won't tell us anything. But tell me, when did Bibby start working at the museum? Many weeks ago. You 3 have been planning this theft for weeks. His memory loss only goes that far back. So will you take the time to hear his testimony, or take your conviction like a stallion? No. No, I've done nothing wrong. Please, you've got to believe me. Bits, believe me, man, I'm innocent. Please, please! Someone, anyone, believe me! Ah! Break it, finally. No! No! Oh, what? It's a nerd pony? Huh, he was fake all along. Well then, I believe that about wraps it up. Dr. Psych, do you have anything to add? You've done it, Miss Incapax. I don't know how, but you've done it. I confess. I mean, do you think I wanted to kill Bibby? Of course not, she's an awesome girl. But while the 3 of us were there, we didn't expect pros to be knocked out. That hammer just flew out of nowhere and I thought he was dead, man. I freaked out. And that's why you killed her, isn't it? Yeah, that's why. If we just killed someone, I didn't want the world to find out. I needed to stop her from talking. I don't think I'll forget that. The chill of the metal. Those chills coursing through my body. Seeing all those bruises appear on her perfect skin. And the final gasp of air. It's painful, man. It's weird, you know. In the heat of the moment, she died in such a horrible way, but there was something strangely beautiful about it. Was it the necklace? Could I just be crazy? Yeah. And then I set up everything. I broke the case and planted bits sprints on a hammer. And I stole the pendant. But why did you risk everything to steal it? If you hadn't done that, you wouldn't be found guilty! She died trying to steal that necklace. She deserved to have her final wish come true, didn't she? Don't you think so, Doli? No! You're a horrible stallion. I knew from the beginning he was horrible because of the alicorn crap, but now this just confirms all my presumptions. This case has been a tangled tale, but we finally unraveled the case. Mr. Prose, you didn't kill anyone, but you did intend to steal the Hemlock Queen's emeralds. That's right, Your Honor. I stole the necklace. However, This isn't the most important thing right now. You did not kill anyone. As such, I see no point in further prolonging this trial. This court finds the defendant, bits and pieces. This court is adjourned. But before I go, Doli? No, Miss Incapax? Yes, what is it? You have a very romantic way of thinking. Delusional, but very pretty. It's been a privilege seeing how everything's turned out. What? Did he just disappear? I guess not. Anyway, Miss Incapax, I can't thank you enough for what you've done. I lied to you about knowing nothing. But you still figured everything out. I'm in your debt. We're really happy for you, Pros. Congrats. Hey, Mr. Pros, when I ask you another question? Yes? Your reason for stealing the necklace was for the psychological treatment, wasn't it? Yes, it was. Why? Why? Wouldn't getting the treatment mean you'd fall out of existence? Yeah. What would you want to just disappear? Do you know what Bits has wished for ever since he was first diagnosed? He wanted to live a life without MPD, and I want to help him out. I'm not all that important, really. If my death means making him happy, then I'll die 1,000 times. Pros. I don't want to hear another word. Can I just have a moment? Miss Lawyer? Bits, we have great news. You've been found not guilty. Not guilty? I'm free. Come on, Bitsy, lighten up a bit. Smile. I'm free. I'm not doomed to jail. Freedom! Freedom! That's the spirit. I'm so happy for you. Now, feel free to shower me with your praises. XC, Miss Lawyer. Bits, I heard you were not guilty. I'm so proud of you. Yes, congratulations. Silly lawyer, you've done a great job defending him. But trust me, if I ever see Psych again, you'll be defending me for murder next. Vicky, don't worry. Oh, I'll worry for you. I'm so scared. I didn't think he'd do this. But he stole it for Bits. I guess that's alright. Speaking of, why did you lie about still independent? I thought I'd get this trial over with. I'm so sorry. Hey, don't worry about it. Things turned out fine, didn't they? Certainly not because of Redheart's testimony. Modus, what are you doing here? Hey, XC. Look, about yesterday. I didn't mean it. You didn't... What? I thought you said I was ruining your time with Mezzy. XC. I don't know why Mezzy's been so reclusive lately. I just needed someone to take the blame. I'm sorry about all this. Modus. Don't say it, XC. Just accept the apology. Sure, I'm concerned about Mezzy. But that isn't our biggest concern right now. Bits got his not guilty verdict. We shouldn't be talking about blame. Maybe I can forgive you. Just this once. Come on, Bits. Let's get celebrating. Yeah, Bits. Things are gonna be alright. Great for you, silly boy. Thanks. Everyone, thanks. I'm very happy for you, Bits. At the time, I didn't think anything of it. Ms. Luna hadn't even been involved in this case, so I brushed his reclusiveness aside. But looking back, maybe I should have paid a bit more attention. Because Ms. Luna's reclusiveness would quickly come back to bite us all. Preview for the next case? I'm kind of excited. Ever since the trial ended, I've continued to retain my general sexiness. Mom hasn't been pestering me very much, so I've been continuing my general detective work. Mezzy still hasn't gotten any better about leaving his house. I need to check on him eventually. But knowing that adorable mess, it's probably just a quirky and adorable situation. 2 murders in 2 months. This is unheard of for Ponyville. And both of them have been bizarre in some way or another. What's going on here? What XC's been so diligent lately? With there and Doli around, murderers beware. Hey, why are you asking me these questions anyway? Didn't you do something similar last time? I'm still being held because of what pros did. But it's a special facility. It's like my old hospital. And the therapy? I'm not getting it. I love pitch. I love pros. I can't kill them. Not a killer. I'll always be weird. And that's wonderful. I'm serving time for taking part in the theft. What a stupid use of my time. But at the very least, I have a lot of time to work on my poetry. Do you remember what Psych said when he was confessing? I'm trying to polish it into a poem, but I'm still stuck after the first line. Feel the chills whisper across your body. What should I say after that? My music career is about to take off. I can just feel it. With my gorgeous voice, I'm gonna make it far. Don't you worry. It'll be hard to give concerts from a jail cell, though. But the show must go on. Stardom, here I come. The Hemlock Queen's Emeralds exhibit has been a tremendous success. Or perhaps I should say the Bail Bonham Memorial exhibit has been a tremendous success. Poor thing. We got the emeralds back at last, and decided to make the exhibit a final farewell to that girl. We detailed the whole case in that room. It's certainly been a very interesting exhibition. I'm sure the girl is watching us from heaven. I hope she can finally be herself up there. Oh, I could barely take the time to come here. I feel so sorry for all the babies at the hospital. But I need to pay my respects to poor Bibby, and the other nurses can look after the babies. What if I brought all the babies here? Then all these problems would be solved. Yes, I'll bring them all here. I can't see any problems with that. Psych confessed to the murder and Prose came out and admitted to the theft. But given the circumstances surrounding the theft, Prose was let off rather easily. Psych, on the other hand, he's serving life without parole. But when he confessed, he seemed almost happy. It was completely bizarre. Maybe his justice has finally been brought down. Now we can enjoy the relative peace around us. A giant thanks to everyone who helped to make the Ace Attorney Online engine. A great thanks to Capcom for its amazing Ace Attorney series of games. A big thanks to Hasbro for its astonishing series My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. A huge thanks to Forge Artifacts for the design of the Hemlock Queen's Emeralds. But most of all, a tremendous thanks to everyone who's supporting me up to this point. Thank you all. Ace Attorney series copyrighted by Capcom, and My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is copyrighted by Hasbro. All sounds and music used are the exclusive right of Capcom. And all characters shown are the exclusive right of Hasbro. Well, actually, not really. Only Nurse Redheart. The OCs are not Hasbro's property, game creator. They are yours. But still, thank you for both of your respective series. And thank you, audience, for taking the time to play this game. It means a lot to me. But until later, thank you all for your help. For all your help. The end. Alright, you know what? I'm gonna applaud. Really liking this universe. These characters, these OCs, they're well balanced. I'm fine playing games with these characters. They're decent. They're great even. It's terrible about all the grammatical mistakes and spelling mistakes and whatnot. That's the only thing I don't like about this series, that there's so much problems with the writing. But the actual stories and the characters and whatnot, I really like them. I'm really looking forward to the next case, whatever it may be, whenever it may be out. And given how the development of this game is going on, it works well within its own limits. There's some new content that has to be created, but it doesn't have to be like insane amount of presentation that has to be done before the actual story is delivered to me. I fully expect the third trial to eventually come. The third case to eventually come. And when it's out, you bet I will be playing it. But until then, I hope you've all enjoyed this series of video of me playing this case, and I hope you all have a very nice day. Bye-bye!